Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Can I just get a thumbs up in the chat that you can hear me okay? Excellent. Thanks very much, guys. Right. So first of all, I wanted to just open this one. Thanks for coming back to the second installment. So I wanted to sort of go through probably the most important part of um, the most important part of revision is actually how to do it. So there's a lot of different techniques that people use, but over the years, I found that students that do um, certain different things. I'm going to show you something called the Pomodoro technique and also something called blurting, which some of you I think have actually heard of before. Um, so um, we're going to explore little practical ways of making revision. I've even gone ahead and made you a revision timetable, which I'll put in the chat and you guys can download. So let's have a little look at our next slide. So the whole point of revision, people sort of say, oh, I don't need to do revision. It is to build and strengthen memory, reinforces an understanding of key concepts, and it prevents panic before exams, right? So builds confidence in tackling exam questions, and revision is about working smarter, not harder. What you don't really want to do is be a last minute person, and we've all been there, being that last minute. But it's important to understand that you are building up to the point of your exam. You don't want to be, well, I've done all this and that and the other. Okay, I'll just do a last little bit on the night before. So you want to build as your strength of that memory, because it's common to see a lot of students who will come into exams, or I sit down and do a past paper revision, and many times they're saying, well, I don't know. And then I'll lead them with guiding little pointers or questions, and they'll say, oh, yeah, so it's very quick to just say, oh, I don't know, but actually really sort of try and think about that topic and understand what is it that the question is asking you. Looking at um, key words, explain, discuss, describe, analyze, all these kinds of things is what's really going to sort of get those marks for you. So how does memory actually work? We use a word called encoding, which is a bit of a silly word really for just trying to sort of revise / understand a topic. Okay, so there's not really a last minute fix to this. So encoding usually leads to good storage, therefore good retrieval. So revision helps you strengthen the memory, reinforces understanding of the key concepts, and prevents panic before exams. The whole point of this, or doing any kind of revision, is that you're hopefully prepared and not going to be in there thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this. You want to build your confidence for tackling exams. And revision is obviously about working smarter, not harder. So being prepared, and the whole point of this lecture today is so that you guys can understand a couple of little techniques that I found worked for me. I think you might recall last time I did a lot of when I was at university, I'd write on paper post-it notes, different colours, and I'd write in different coloured pens and I'd stick them around my wall, and I could look at those whenever I was studying or just even if I was relaxing. And those silly little colours and post-it notes would stick in my head. So when I came into the exam, I remembered things, and I still, it's a good sense of satisfaction when you can see that and it works. The common pitfalls really with revision is rereading notes in lots of students feel is enough. And I have found that for me, you might be different, but rereading notes over and over again, repetition will work, but you're a little bit robotic in some of the things that you've written. So therefore, you might miss out on what the question's asking. If I could give an example on that, would be if the question is talking about photosynthesis and it's trying to ask you some kind of your understanding, or you've revised the equation, but the question's asking you something to do with limiting factors like light or temperature or carbon dioxide levels. because you're robotic in your revision, you're probably not going to give the correct answer. So another thing students do, which I find is quite unusual, is over highlighting everything. I actually encourage highlighting in my lessons at school, but you when I see students have just highlighted the whole page, it's just pointless. So you want to have a look at those key points. I personally highlight things I'm probably not understanding entirely. So it could be like key words, or um, maybe there's something new that you haven't seen before. Highlight that so you can come back and do a bit of retrieval. Copying out notes word for word, I think, is a really poor way of revising. Um, in a lot of my lessons, I'll ask students to copy down key terms or maybe draw something like this. And that is great because you can come back and retrieve that. But if you've got whole textbooks, you've probably all been there. And give me a yes in the comments if you've been in a lesson where a teacher tells you copy out page blah blah blah, and that's the lesson, which in my view is not good enough. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that's correct. Um, there's no this it's actually pointless, and that when people are saying let's copy this, that, and the other out, it's not actually good enough, really. There's no delivery of information. Um, Sometimes people can be a little bit overconfident in certain topics as well. I just want to make a note on that. Some people, if I could give myself as an example there, um, so for example, maths isn't my strongest subject, and I would personally try and look at the things I knew first and go through those, see if I could give myself more challenging questions. And when I was happy, then I would move on. So I felt like I was quite confident with that. And then sometimes they'd rejig the questions. And this is why doing past paper questions is a really good point. When they rejig the questions, I didn't really understand it, or maybe I was doing the equation the back to front. I should have been timesing it instead of dividing it or something like this. And try not to be someone, some people can do this, and really a true year 11 student, when you guys go into year 11, shouldn't do this, is multitasking. Don't be revising with your, I don't know, friends that are chatting or whatever. I was quite find it funny. I was watching my year 11s coming in the morning, best intentions. They sit in our we call a concourse area, and they're sitting down, they're revising. Their friends come in, revision stop now, because obviously morning chatting, like having something to eat, and it really doesn't work. And I had quite a lot of students who actually leave that concourse area, which is like a social hub, really, not really revision. And they would come up to my lab in the mornings and say, "Sir, can I come in here and revise?" And I would allow that because they obviously want to just be on their own and just flick over their notes or do a bit of blurting or um, flashcards or what have you, or just review something quickly, literally 10 minutes before the exam. So yeah, being overconfident, don't let distractions happen. So phones is a big thing. Social media is our biggest thing. Even for me, sometimes, I want to make sure that my phone isn't flashing. Like for example, here today, don't let it ruin your focus, because we're all guilty of this. Scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, before you know it, 45 minutes has gone by. You think, how has that happened? When that could have been 45 minutes of doing something useful towards your exam. So you guys know that anyway, because I spoke about that last week. So effective revision principle. So active recall, spaced practice, interleaving topics, and dual coding. So words and visuals. Those of you who I teach, you'll notice that I sometimes do silly little word association things with you. So those of you who I've done cell biology with, when I do eukaryotic and prokaryotic, it's quite long words, and I find students literally delete that. They don't understand what is a eukaryotic cell. Okay, that's an animal cell, but why is that an animal cell? Because you has a EU, you do have a nucleus, so therefore that's eukaryotic. Prokaryotic, pro sounds like no nucleus, and that's how I always work with silly little things like that. And I know it sounds silly, but the amount of students that come back after the exam and said, you used to say that silly thing. I said, yeah, that helped me remember that in the exam. And if I can do that, then I've done my job. So active recall, test yourself, space practice, spread it out. Interleaving, which means switch up subjects. Don't be, I'm going to do a week on photosynthesis. It's not sustainable. Dual coding, I should say. Combine visuals and words if you can. So sometimes if you're like me, I'm a bit of a visual learner. So maybe looking at YouTube and having some visual representation, it sometimes clicks with you. I found sometimes with when I was learning maths, looking at someone physically writing it out and I could copy that was a lot easier. There's a lot of YouTube learning channels which has a teacher physically writing out on like a whiteboard or on a PowerPoint or something like that. And that's proven actually in what we call cognitive science. It makes you remember. So visual learning. I mean, some of you I've noticed I show you techniques before, or if we're teaching you a topic, I literally show you something and then literally you go away and do it. So once you've seen it once, you can do it. Some people need a little bit more, and that's fine. And sometimes being slower or explaining it a different manner can help. So let's just recap there. So active recall, testing yourself, spread it out, switch up the subject, and combine visuals if you can. So dual coding. When we're doing active recall, a lot of people don't really know what that means. Okay, test me. Okay, I'm going to say the answer. Okay, I've recalled. Yeah, that's okay. So testing yourself is the best memory booster, actually. So I'm going to show you a technique how to do that in a second. So practice questions. I think I've explained this to you before, but AQA, which is your exam body, is a quite lazy exam body. Like if you look at 2024 past paper, 2023, and about 2022, you don't really need to go further back than that. You'll notice that they actually, if not, copy and paste questions in your 2026 paper when you guys do it, or they just rejig it, they rewrite it. So the more that you're looking back over past papers, if you're doing foundation or higher paper, have a look at those past papers. They're all online on Google if you can't get them. If not, I can always email it to you if you like as well. But flashcards is really good. So practice questions, flashcards with questions and answers. Some of you I've seen do flashcards, which is great. Try and cover your notes and recite them if you can a little bit. So if you are someone that just wants to look at your notes, read it, recall it. Okay, give yourself 5 minutes, look at something else, and then come back. Right, what was that about? Okay, yeah, that was that, and that. That's almost like blurting a little bit. But be prepared to don't fear your mistakes. They help you learn. One of the things I used to find is I used to get really frustrated when I would learn a technique, again, looking at maths or something like that, and I would be doing it, and then all of a sudden when I check my answers, I notice I've done something wrong, and it used to really, really infuriate me because I'd think, well, I've really put a lot of effort into this. Why is this not paying off? And it might pay you to either sit with a friend, preferably a teacher, and just say, I'm doing this, and I think I keep doing it wrong. This is how I'm doing it. The teacher would be like, oh, do you know what? Do it like this, and that you'd be surprised how quickly you can adapt. Right. So going on the spacing everything out. So space practice. So spread the revision over time because the longer you leave everything, guess what? And I don't need to tell you this, you forget it. So the longer we don't use something, the longer we forget it. So forgetting needs relearning, which means a stronger memory. So, for example, schedule day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14, maybe to sort of revisit the same questions or same topics. So, revisit material at spaced intervals. I wouldn't do like biology, chemistry, physics, or maybe if you wanted to do physics, and then biology, chemistry, or something, just rejig it. Give yourself some bit of flavor, bit of variation. Definitely avoid cramming. Don't be cramming stuff in at the last minute. It's like working out your brain in stages a little bit. So if you work out your body, going to the gym or doing sport or whatever, you also want to sort of train your brain. So plan revision over weeks, not days. And like I said to you, like day 1, okay, then day 2 I'm going to have off. Day 3, or day 7, for example, like that. And that way you've spaced it all out. A lot of students over the half term said that I'm going to revise for the first sort of 4 days and then have like a bit of a couple of days off towards the exam. I would actually advise that. I think that's a really good idea. Don't do what I used to do and be like, okay, I've got 2 weeks off, or I've got a week off, and my exam's next week. So this is you like next June, or March, April, sorry. And you end up getting to a point where I've got a week off. I'm gonna revise at the end of the week. I'm gonna give myself some time with my friends first. Guess what happens? You get to the end of that week, you've got 2 days left to do a week's worth of revision. It's just not gonna happen. So put the hard work in. Obviously, like I say, space it out. Day one, do the revision. As soon as you're on that first day off, unless you actually are busy with family or what have you, get your revision in. Day three, day two, have a break. Day three, space it all out. I'm going to show you this now. So when we say about interleaving, so try and mix your topics up. Don't block one subject if you can. I was guilty of that. For example, like you'll all roll your eyes at this, but like algebra or something like that. I always found that algebra was something I was like, gosh, what is this? So try and sort of like don't avoid it. I'd end up avoiding it. Interleaving is encouraging deeper learning, and examples switch between chemistry and biology questions. So instead of revising just chemistry all day, mix the chemistry, then the biology, then the physics. So if you are going to do a day of revision and you're going to do it in like 25-minute blocks or something like that, or like I said to you, don't study more than 45 minutes. It's not good for your brain. You won't absorb anything. You're literally just going to be sitting there. If you find actually you're revising and you're getting to a point where you're just sort of like drifting off, take a break. There's no point in forcing yourself anymore. You're going to get to a point where you're actually associating it mentally as being a drown, and you don't want that. What you're doing when you're mixing up like biology, chemistry, then physics or something on the same day, it makes you more flexible at applying knowledge. It's harder at first doing this, I will be honest, where you're trying to mix it up a little bit. And sometimes you feel like you probably haven't learned anything, but you will do. It's harder at first, but stronger understanding of the topics. And there's loads of studies on this. So, for example, practice random different questions from different units. So, you know what you could do? You could have a 6 marker and a couple of like box ticking ones on biology, same for chemistry, and same for physics, and that should be absolutely fine. Dual coding, so where we're using diagrams alongside notes, using visual triggers to improve your memory. So try and have images to help you if you're really like, I don't get this. When I'm talking about cell biology, have a picture of a cell. Don't just have, okay, cytoplasm is this, cellulose is that, nucleus is this, ribosomes, mitochondria, all this kind of stuff. Visually understand it. And as you guys have seen probably in practice papers that I've been giving you, there's a lot of strange, almost unrecognizable little images that they'll give you for like organelles. I always say students that mitochondria looks like a round bacteria with all like a convoluted sort of curl inside of it. And then sometimes when you see past paper exams, they don't do it exactly how it's taught in school. And I think that's really, really unfair. So try and be very careful. In the year 10 mock that my students just had, they gave a picture of a plant cell which had lost water, so it had shrunk and it was like convoluted around the outside. Students straight away thought that was a bacteria, which I thought was quite unfair, even though it did say in the question, this is a plant cell. But students labeled a lot of the organelles wrong inside, which is really, really infuriating for them, and as well as the teacher as well. So visual triggers, having like a picture with your revision. If you want to draw it out, great, especially for flashcards. Flow charts sometimes help, mind maps, label diagrams. Try sketching your revision instead of writing paragraphs sometimes. So if you want to draw, okay, these are what's in an animal cell, this is what it is, and therefore you can like label that if you can off by heart. And that basically the whole point of this is it encourages deeper processing of your brain, which is really useful. Right, so retrieval practice. So retrieval is pulling info from your brain. That's the whole point of retrieving information. The best method to lock in knowledge. as well, because this is the way that you can actually say, oh yeah, I remember that, I remember that. If I said to you, come on, let's be the world's best basketball player, you'd have to just keep practicing. And the same with this, you need to train your brain to practice it. All right. Past papers, I know I keep banging on about that, but it's really, really where it's at, because you can get a flavor for what is actually in past questions, to try and see how they word it and things like this. You can quiz your friends. I actually encourage this a little bit. So if you've got, make a little quiz, you can ask ChatGPT to do this. You don't have to make it yourself. Um, and get your friend to do some for you, and then you can practice and bounce off of each other. And if they don't know it, you're actually in turn going to teach it to them. And guess what? They actually are learning, and so are you, and that reinforces your recall. Okay. Um, Ask your teachers for this, by the way. Whiteboard memory tests. Something I do in my classes is I'll ask a question and to see if everyone understands it. And I'll say 3, 2, 1 and get everyone to show me on their whiteboard. And then as a teacher, I can quickly glance and see, okay, 4 people didn't get that. Why is that? Is that because they weren't listening or they just didn't get it? So I'll revisit that. I'll give a similar kind of question. 3, 2, 1, everyone answer me, and then they show me, and now everyone's got it. Do you see what I mean? And then what I will do, because that was a quick retrieve, in the end of the lesson, I'll do it again just to see everyone remembered. Sometimes people don't, but generally speaking, majority of people get it. All right. And the other thing as well, get used to recalling under pressure if you can. All right. So get used to, if you can, recording under that pressure of someone like constantly testing you and practicing with you. I think it is good to revise with friends, but there's, as you well know, there'll be issues where people are maybe being distracting. We've all been there. I've done it before. Come on, do you want to come around my house and we'll revise? We'll get pizza, and maybe we'll have a couple of a couple of like non-alcoholic drinks or whatever. Before you know it, you're actually just sitting down eating pizza. You're not actually revising. What revision did you do today? I ate a pepperoni pizza. I remember that. So it's important that you sort of do what is being asked or what you need. Oops, let's just skip back. Right, so this is the one that I really believe in. Blurting. And if you haven't heard of it or done it, it's a rapid recall technique, and it's simple but powerful way. And there's lots and lots of studies doing that this actually works. So you pick a topic, photosynthesis, for example, put your book away, write down everything that you can remember on photosynthesis. Right, do I know the equation? Where does photosynthesis happen? Oh, it happens in the chloroplast. What is in the chloroplast? Oh, there's chlorophyll. What color is chlorophyll? It's green. This reacts in the sunlight. We've got water, carbon dioxide converts in light to glucose and oxygen. That is the photosynthesis equation. Plants have big leaves, all these kinds of things. The water from the plant comes from the roots up the stem and into the leaves. Carbon dioxide is absorbed into the stomata in the leaves. The whole lot of this is the transpiration stream from the water moving from the roots up the stem out the leaves. And this can be influenced by temperature, amount of carbon dioxide, and obviously water. If there's not enough water, then photosynthesis slows down and the plant wilts and stuff like this. So you put your book away, write everything down, then you check you've got what you got right, what you missed, maybe you wrote the equation down wrong. Actively forces your brain to retrieve, which massively strengthens memory. It's like a bit of a game as well, which is quite good. Repeat the same blurting the next day, a week later, to see improvement. It's quick, easy, and works for most subjects. And blurting is great because you don't need any fancy tools, it's just pen and paper. You don't need to have like apps or anything like that. Encourage your students, I always say, to try blurting before moving on to past papers. So we've got a 6 marker. What do I know about that? It's talking about photosynthesis. Blurt as much as you can. And actually, I'd actually encourage you to do the blurting, which you will do in the exam, regarding bullet points. Because say you had a six marker on photosynthesis and its limitations in a greenhouse with high amounts of carbon dioxide or something like that. Or how could a farmer causes crops in the greenhouse to grow faster. I literally bullet point, blah, 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 blah. Okay, how much can I remember? Yes, 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 yes. Right. Even if you haven't written anything in your thing, you've already got some answers here. And the marker or the exam marker will actually still use that, even if it's not written in a 6 marker points. I've actually got a lot of students, and I encourage this as well. When you're writing a 6 marker or you're doing some blurting revision, actually, even though you've written like a paragraph, put bullet points in it, because it's actually easier for the marker to see where the points are. It gives you the marks easy. All right. So blurting, I am a big fan of. Write down everything, cover it up your notes first. Don't peek at it. Push your brain to retrieve as much as you can. Compare what you've written and then fill in the missing parts. Okay. And then repeat this like maybe the next day or the next week. And it helps you identify weak spots. All right. So blurting is there. Another way you can do blurting as well, if you are a person that's got all your lovely revision notes from class, read it. Okay. Give yourself a couple of minutes, maybe read it again. Next page, right, flashcard, go. Write everything down. And then, okay, I can't remember anymore. Are you sure? Yep, I can't remember anymore. Come back. Now, highlighter pen, highlight the bits that you've missed off. And then write those down. And then you can come back to this and keep doing it. Blurting is a really, really neat way to try and just remember, really. And then there's this other technique called the Pomodoro technique, and this has been studied quite a bit in Europe. 25 minutes of focus and 5 minutes break. If you are someone that really is a distracted person and you find that even blurting maybe is boring you, don't only do the blurting, for example, just for 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, and hold yourself accountable. If you are a minute late from your 5 minutes break, okay, you now need to do 26 minutes. You see what I mean? So you're holding yourself accountable. Really be on it. This is the job. Deliver it. Okay. So 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. Oh no, I'm 2 minutes late coming back. That's now I've got to do 27 minutes and make it up, right? You repeat this 4 times and then have a longer rest if you feel that you're getting tired. What the idea behind doing 25 minutes, why not I do 45 minutes? What you said 45 minutes, Lawrence. The idea about this is that you're doing 25-minute bits, which might be easier for some of you, because let's be honest, revision sometimes can be quite mundane and boring. So 45 minutes, if you can study for 45, great. If you're like me and maybe just need, okay, I'm going to go and get a coffee or I'm going to go and get a drink or something like that. 5 minutes, 25 minutes is probably a bit easier. So like I say, repeat the 25-minute, 5 minutes 4 times. It should prevent you getting too tired too quickly. Also, what I find really good, this fits well into your after school revision, because it is difficult coming home from school and then actually I need to now sit down and do a bit more. If you can do that, you're onto a massive win. But it is important to make sure that you are getting the rest at little breaks. And also the high idea behind this is you're having blurting. So okay, 25 minutes. I've looked at cells, and I'm gonna go and have 5 minutes. I'm gonna go and grab a cold drink. Right, I've spoken to my family or whatever for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna come back. And now I'm gonna write. What do I remember? Blurt it down. See what I did. Oh my God, I remembered it. You'll have such a massive sense of satisfaction. So that will keep your motivation high to keep doing this. If this works for you, great. Do the Pomodoro technique mixed with the blurting. I would say that. So do your actual revision of blurting, but do it in 25-minute stints. If you can do it for 45, great. I would probably would do the Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes, because you know then that you're living to the time schedule and you're not going to have what's called burnout. Oh yeah, and I really wanted to. I just added this in last minute of this bit. So when you're studying, set up a quiet, well-lit, minimal distraction, and keep essentials nearby study space. Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the comments if you take snacks to wherever you're studying and you're like, right, I've got my snacks. Snacks is a great way to keep you going, like maybe sugar, sweets, or maybe some like I don't know, like some what do you call it, like nuts or something like that. So quiet space, good lighting, keep books and resources close. Remove your phone distractions. I know I always say that, but honestly, these things are the worst for distractions. This is designed to distract you from being successful. The more that you control this, the more successful you're going to be. The nicer stuff, better job you're going to get, the more money you're going to get, nicer clothes you're going to get, better car you're going to get. At some point, you guys are going to start learning to drive soon. Don't let this distract you, okay? Um, what was I going to say more about that? But not too cozy. Right. I want to pause on that. When you're revising, don't be revising in bed. Don't be revising in bed because you're already associating, okay, this is boring. Okay, I'm lying down in bed. The lights are dim. I'm really tired and I'm starting to get comfortable. Guess what? Your brain's like, okay, it's bedtime. So you're just not going to do it. Don't be revising in bed. You should associate your bed really for sleep. We're all guilty of sitting in bed and looking at our phones. Um, and you want to try and train your brain to, right, bed is for sleep time. All right. Um, what else did I want to say on that? I think that's about it. So yeah, make sure it's quiet, well lit, minimal distractions, and keep essentials nearby. Drink, coffee, um, and anything like maybe some snacks and things like that. So, um, past papers is, I would say, in your top three things that you need to be doing. If you're not looking at past papers, you're actually setting yourself up to fail a little bit. Looking at those past papers, like I say, like the past up to 2023, I'd say for you guys, because you'll be 2026, won't you? So the most realistic practice, use them to test timing. Learn mark scheme wording, okay, because they give you the answers. You can download the mark scheme. Practice applying that knowledge and don't just read the answers, write them out. It's quite difficult sometimes um, when you've got the mark scheme there to be like, well, I don't know, so I'll look at the mark scheme. Guess what you're doing? You're just cheating yourself. Go through, give yourself a real deal answer of what you think it might be, and then have a look at the end, okay? So you can casually look through a past paper, see what you feel. How do you feel about some of these questions? I don't know any of this. Okay, therefore there is revision needed to be done. We need to do some blurting and the Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes, 5-minute breaks to try and understand this paper because so far I don't know any of this. Okay. So you make sure that you're doing these past papers because it really will show you how the questions are laid out. And different wording techniques as well. Make sure you're reading the question properly. Everyone used to say that to me a lot. Making flashcards. I know a lot of you make lovely flashcards, which is really good. Question on your front, answer on the back, small chunks of information, little extras. Again, highlight them or make them pretty. Review them daily. You can have apps like Quizlet as well, which are quite good. They can just have your flashcards on your phone if you want to, which is quite good. It's quick. That way you don't have to make stuff. I'd probably encourage you to make actual physical flashcards because you've got a bit of sense of satisfaction. Um, all of you I've seen have got lovely handwriting anyway, so you're not like me, messy handwriter. So you definitely could be making some really nice flashcards. Plus, I know it sounds silly, but once you've used them, you could like hand them down to a friend that you know in year 10 or whatever, or like your sister or brother or something like that. So question on one side and the answers on the other. Short, clear chunks of information. Carry them everywhere you go. You can sit on the train, on the bus, whatever, in the car. Mum, I'm going to leave the revision in the car in the morning so that I can just flick over them whilst I'm going to school in the car or the train or the bus, whatever. You can use apps if you prefer digital. I know a lot of people like just to have everything on their phone, and that's fine. But make sure you're reviewing it regularly, if you're looking at Instagram more than you're looking at your digital flashcards on your phone, then you're not winning the war. Okay, so make sure flashing cards I think, are a really good idea. If you could do that regarding blurting as well, that's really good. Mind maps are really good. Some people like to do spider diagrams. It's great for seeing connections with everything. So you can summarize your big topics and color code from memory. So maybe this is biology, but it wraps in with this, and chemistry and physics sometimes sort of marry into each other. It's great for linking big ideas. Also really helps spot gaps in your knowledge. So your colors, you could actually do like red for strong memory links, or your favorite color. One branch per topic. Hang them on your wall for a daily refresh. I would recommend that. Um, make your, because you guys, being young teenagers, you guys would probably hang out in your bedrooms quite a bit. So actually use your bedroom to your advantage, I'd say. If you're allowed to have like mind maps or visual tools stuck around the bedroom, definitely have that. Or this is my revision, wall or something like that. Like I say, post-it notes and things. This is really, really useful. Try and make use of your space. Using checklists and plans. I'm going to show you a plan in a second. Weekly and daily to-do lists. I said to you last week how I love a to-do list where you can just tick off what you've been doing. You can break tasks down. Don't try to do everything in one go. It just doesn't work. Tick off the completed topics and give a sense of progress. Prevents last-minute panic as well, which is really, really good. It helps you stay on track. And like I say, ticking off different completed tasks, I think is a great idea. Right, so I went on ChatGPT, and I'm going to send you guys this in the chat in a second. And I had a little play around, and I literally said to ChatGPT, I want to create a revision technique, a revision plan for every day of the week. And you can see on here, I've got this is obviously once you come back from school. So maybe from 6, obviously you want to have dinner by the time you guys get home. So from 6 to 6:45, I'm going to do biology, look at a revision marker on photosynthesis. Sorry, 6 marker on photosynthesis and a required practical. One of the things I really want to try and steer you guys towards is looking at required practicals. Why? Because they always show some kind of required practical, electrolysis, photosynthesis equation, or anything like microscopy or anything like that. Make sure you have that 5-minute stretch and have a water break or a drink. And then we've got here 6:50 to 7:35. Past paper questions on photosynthesis, transport plants, and create flashcards, and then another 5-minute break, and then just do a flashcard blurting review. Done. Revision's done. So what was that? 6 till 8. So 2 hours, but 25-minute stints or 45 minutes if you can do it. You could break those 45 minutes, like I say, into the Pomodoro technique and do 25. And you can see then the next day I'm doing chemistry. And then what have we got? Wednesday, we've got physics, and then Thursday we're going back to bio. You could even rejig that even more. This is just an example, but I can send this to you if you feel that you are someone that can do the 45 minutes. If you can hold yourself accountable and do those 45-minute stints, that's even better. All right, I'll send this to you in the chat at the end. Right, dealing with procrastination. Procrastination is obviously a time we can really find ourselves being lazy. And having that break is really important. Reward yourself. I'm going to have a chocolate bar, maybe not every 25 minutes, and remove any distractions and set clear, achievable goals. Everyone procrastinates sometimes. We're human. That's what's part of us. We're actually designed to try and sort of relax and take the easy route. And it's actually hard to do the hard things. This is why we've got what some people call geniuses in the world, creating incredible things like space travel or designing new cars or whatever. Very few people or companies are doing this, and they're pushing the boundaries of this because it's hard to do the hard thing. So work hard and you can get to where you want to be, right? So reward after finishing. Use timers so that you can do timers. Ideally, not on your phone if you can. You can buy these little timers, but if you do want to use your phone, then so be it. Or you can clock watch. Remind yourself why you want good results. I'm doing this because I am going to better myself. Try not to lose sight of why you're doing this. Sometimes you're like, why am I doing this? This is so boring. Da, 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 I don't need this. But guess what you do? Because you guys want those nice things. You get those nice things with money. Nothing's for free in this world, okay? Just this is what you're pushing yourself for. Um, look after yourself as well. Make sure you get good sleep, healthy diet, physical activity, and manage stress. One of the things I'm guilty of, I know I keep saying to you about having like a chocolate or something. You're have like a chocolate. Everything's in moderation. But comfort foods will make you feel a bit sluggish. So sometimes if you're eating like loads of crisps or something like this, or like high carby foods, you're going to feel really sleepy. You're going to get an insulin spike, and you're going to feel all dopey, and you're not going to want to revise, are you? Sleep is absolutely vital. Don't revise all night. It's silly when you hear this. Oh, I was revising until 2 a.m. Are you silly? Like that's not going to happen. You're literally destroying your recall for the exam tomorrow. It's not a good idea. Eat brain healthy foods. Anything that's colourful or green or from a plant. Like eat all these kinds of things. It feeds your brain. Anything which is what I call beige. I know I was saying to you about chocolates. Certainly have a chocolate, right? But eat some fruit. Get mum. I'm doing a week of revision. I want bananas. I want apples. Maybe some berries. Whatever. Anything that's colourful, as God intended. I say. Literally come from the tree or the plant. Be have that. All this processed stuff. Try and stay away from. I know I say about chocolate, but have yourself something nice. Take breaks, actually move about. A lot of people will sometimes be like, okay, I'm on a 5 minute break now. Great, I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to have a drink and I'm literally just going to sit here. But that's actually not having a break. Take yourself out of the physical room, leave the room. If you want to go in the garden or something, great. Go and stand in the sun, get a 5 minute tan, and then literally come back to your 25-minute Pomodoro technique. Talk to someone if you're stressed, by the way. I want to just say about that. Manage your stress. Apologies for the dog. Talk to someone if you are stressed because it's not good if you are constantly stressed all the time. All right. Um, and what else was I going to say about this? It's not wise if you're just holding it all in. Make sure that you are talking to people all the time. All right. Parents, teachers, friends, if you're feeling a bit stressed. Um, Putting it all together, right? Okay, so consistency is key. Variety, active methods, and take breaks, right? So revision is not a one-off. You don't just do it and it's done. It's revisiting. Use different techniques together. Start early. Don't be one of these people that put it off. I'm that person putting it off. Yeah, I've got 2 weeks off. I'm gonna have 4 days of seeing my friends and going out and da 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 da. Um, and okay, I go back to school Monday. It's now Wednesday, so I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Saturday, Sunday, Mum and Dad have said I'm doing something with them. I'm recording back to when I was your age. So now I've just got Thursday, Friday, and now Thursday I've actually got to go to my sport event that I do on Thursday. So I really have only got Friday. So now you've only got one day revision. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you're scheduling this is. Also, say to parents, Mum and Dad, this is my revision. What do you think? They'll say, yes, that's great, but make sure you're aware of on the Friday we're doing this together, so that you can rejig your whole revision in. Make it like a job, like an itinerary. Imagine going on a trip. Okay, I've only got a week in wherever, whatever destination you've gone to. I need to make maximum of my time. Okay, this day I'm going on the beach. This day I'm going to climb a mountain. This day I'm going to go on the beach again, or I'm going to sit around the pool, whatever. Okay, so make sure you scheduled everything you know what you're going to do. So consistency is key. Um, Small steps every day beat the cramming is what I want to say as well. Doing little wins is great and pat yourself on the back for it. It's really, really, really good. If you can just take a little bit of break, but you're doing a little bits here and there, okay? So don't be cramming. Right, people, so we've actually reached our time. Is there any questions? I just want to recap if anyone's got any questions in the thing in the chat for me. So active recall, space practice, and good habits. Encourage everyone to try one. I would encourage everyone to try one new technique every week. Thanks for listening. I want you to say that you guys have got this. Okay, you guys are so capable. You're all wonderful people, and you can definitely have this. You're all going to be in that passing, getting those grades. And science is definitely something, you use all these techniques for not just science. Science is something that you guys are all going to absolutely smash. All right. Revision is your superpower. Use it to your advantage. I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to put in the chat the timetable for revision. All right. Feel free to download it. Thanks, guys, and have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.